Etsy News! This is your weekly roundup of everything that's happening in the big bad world of Etsy, and I really have a lot to talk about today. Firstly, Etsy is closing shops and they're telling us about it. This is different from what Starla's talking about, so I'll go into in a minute. There's been a celebrity collab and some more updates on gifting mode, so let's get into it. So the Ety Experiment, I should have mentioned this first. The Ety Experiment, this is something I commented on in a video on Wednesday. If you haven't heard all about it, check it out. But Etsy is asking for people to opt in. They're running an experiment that they're looking at optimizing the SEO in your titles across. It's a little confusing. They're saying Etsy ads and Google and Facebook on offsite ads, but then they talk about Etsy in your Etsy listings in search, so I'm not sure. But if you have an invite, there's a place to opt into it. If you opt into it, all of your listings are included in this test. Etsy isn't going to edit them in your shop, as it were. It's more editing them. What you see in your shop is always going to be the same, and when customers come to your actual shop, it's going to be the same. But they're going to add some polish to your title when they put it across into the Etsy search results or into like Google and stuff. So I spoke about this at depth, whether I think you should do it or not, in my past video. So if you want to know more, go and check that out. But I've been this has brought up a not unexpected but a very big issue with Etsy. I've been in all the forums and everywhere and on my videos as well. And the simple fact is sellers just don't trust Etsy. Now, I know we live in a world of conspiracy theories and not trusting anything, but I think Etsy deserve the lack of trust. I don't mean to be mean. There's many different teams on Etsy. Some of them are probably wonderful. But most of our experience with a lot of the AI tools, and this really has to be AI, I can't see another way they're doing it. A lot of our experiences, it hasn't been very great. As I spoke about, like the pricing tool, sometimes they just automatically change our categories. They've given us loads of suggestions for things, and the suggestions tend not to be very good, or the changes haven't been great. So people think Etsy is going to mess it up. And equally, every single time Etsy does a change, people assume anything they see dipping in their own listings is, dipping in their own sales is a result of Etsy change. So the fact that people are having low sales just now, people are already saying, my sales have plummeted since this announcement. This hasn't started yet, to my knowledge. So, people blame, especially these aren't people that have signed up for it. So people blame every single dip in their own sales to a thing that Etsy's done. It's not always Etsy's fault. However, I totally understand the dislike for this. Let's look at some of these comments. I just picked out a few. There's too many to see. In the Etsy forum itself, there was hundreds and hundreds of replies, and I think I only saw 2 that were people saying they'd sign up for it. Now, Etsy, I'll sign up for it. You can't break my shop because I'm not bothered. I'm not that bothered, but I'll happily sign up for it. But let's look at some of what people are saying. But this far, I have zero confidence in Etsy's AI or that of any selling sites. That's fair. Yeah, AI's not good enough yet. So that would be a no. Perhaps if we could pick a few underperforming listings, then maybe. I have quite a few listings that don't do as well. Would be worth the risk screwing with them. So Etsy, if you're listening to me, and then I realised that Etsy do watch my videos. Worrying. But anyway, that's a good point. Don't do it across our entire shop, and then people will be less scared. Can one be too skeptical when it comes to AI plus Etsy plus test? Hell no. The likelihood that Etsy's AI will know the vintage terms a buyer would use is laughable. Etsy should know the terms that buyers are using. Etsy have the best access to their own data. How well they're using it is a different thing. And also, the big problem with AI is it's average. it's looking at the big picture. It's not looking at if you're a small, it might know the good things for all vintage shops, but it doesn't know your specific little tiny different shop that has its own niche that's different. So I think that's the big problem we're seeing with AI. It's not innovative. It's just the average to the mean. It's bland. Why give them added permission to muck things up when they already do enough damage on their own? And this is a good point that I thought as well. Like when Etsy did the test for truncating titles, they weren't changing our titles, they were just changing what they displayed in search. It didn't impact where we were ranking at all, it just made it look cleaner on the search page. But nobody was asked to opt into that. Etsy just picked random things to test. So the fact they're asking us is actually really weird. They could have just done it. I have the invite in my dashboard and nope, I'm not participating. I don't have, look, if you're wanting to test, use me. My shop is like the test shop. Yeah, sure. Let's use AI titles and descriptions. What could go wrong? Keeping commerce human, my ass. Yep. I wasn't aware of yet another test. I think I'll ride this one out and see if the test passes or fails. That's another thing. Get back to that in a minute. Can't imagine our listings not getting messed up, and I think Etsy will be manipulating our descriptions as well. I don't want requests for refunds or negative reviews because the item or title stated was something different from what I'd put there. They aren't changing the descriptions or the tags. This is just a title change. Descriptions have not a massive impact on SEO, a little more on Google, but on Etsy, it's not really much. They look at it, but they don't really look at it. And so that this test isn't for manipulating descriptions. As far as I can see, I totally agree with that if they completely changed your title, a customer might be confused about what they're getting. As far as I can see, for the Etsy search, they're talking about just adding like a gift for tag at the, they're talking about adding something there. And for Google, they're just talking about removing the things that stop it advertised on Google, things like on sale now, things that Google hates, but it shouldn't be changing the body, the message of the title. My shop's not included in the test, but would not participate anyway. My concerns was how will the results be measured? What exactly will the results show? Will it result in more sales? Maybe I'm misunderstanding, but each shop has its own individuality with its own ebbs and flows. To me, a cookie cutter won't work. There's a lot of good in that short sentence there. How will the results be measured? That is a good thing. Now, everyone isn't a data geek. I totally understand that. But Etsy tend to show the results of their kind of trials. Quite often they'll just say, we see that shoppers had a 20% more likelihood of buying if there was a video or something like that. And that sounds good, but they don't tell us the sample size, how they've tested it, and they don't tell us the likelihood of buying in the first place. This is a thing you see with medical claims on things. You say, oh, this will reduce your chance of this horrible thing by 100%. But they don't tell you that your chance of getting the thing is 0.2%. So reducing your chance by 100% is just reducing it down to like 0.1%. It's statistically significant, but it's not lifestylely significant. So exactly, if they say something is 20% more likely to buy, but if we're talking an average, we don't know if it's an average on Etsy, but an average across the board of e-commerce of a conversion of about 2%. So if something increases by 20%, then that means it's got an average conversion of 2.2%. So that's not something that you'll physically see in your shop. It makes a cumulative difference over time, but it's not it's not a massive thing. If you're getting one sale a month, you're not going to notice that. Etsy will notice it in the big picture, but that's not talking about the macro looking right in at your shop. And yes, the cookie cutter won't cut it. Actually, to be honest about this, what I'm just thinking just this minute when you're saying a cookie cutter won't cut it, if it's looking at the average and looking at helping the most average types of shops, this is probably going to help the mass print on demand shops that have copied 200 other shops, that little niche, because Etsy will have so much more data on them because they're all identical. It probably won't be able to help the tiny individual handmade shop that's making something that's amazing but different from everybody else. I just thought of that just now. There's a new gifting article in the Seller Handbook. I'll leave a link in the description. Not a whole lot there. 9 ways to make the most of Etsy's gifting shoppers. I'll be talking a little bit more about the gifting thing, but we're working to help you bring even more sales by growing our community. Basically, Etsy saying we've gone all in on the gift thing. Don't know whether it's working or not, but we're going to push it. And they sort of have to. They've gone all in on the gift thing for this year. They're only going to know if it's working come the big gifting time at Christmas. Anyway, you can read it if you want. So yeah, the gifting thing, I did look into the articles a little bit more. So when it's a gift, this is what the customers see. If a customer, well, not even a customer, if a gift recipient goes to Etsy, this is the customer thing. I received an email about a gift teaser. So it just tells them when someone buys with you as a recipient in mind, they can enter your email to send the gift teaser to. You'll get the email from transaction@etsy.com. So you'll get to see, obviously, what the person's sent you and everything, the delivery status, the estimated delivery date, tracking information, and an image. They are again promising that it has to come by the estimated delivery date or your money back, but they are saying only the person who purchased the gift can start the return or exchange process. But now this popped up on my dashboard on my phone when I was doing something else. So instead, I didn't get the time to screenshot it and I was looking everywhere for it. But this is a new thing. I finally found it. Gift recipients can now message you with questions. So in the last article that I just showed you, it doesn't in any way where mention it's telling you what shop you got it from, but it looks like it now is. You're going to have a button, you're going to have a link to be able to message the seller, which is, I don't know if I like this or not. I like the fact that they're getting to know who it's coming from, but at the same time, if someone buys a gift for someone else, I don't want annoying friend of theirs to look and go, no, don't like that. Can I change it? Can I do this? Can I be the annoying customer that hasn't even purchased from you? Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'd like them to know that it's my shop, but they're not my customer. I kind of don't want to have to deal with 2 people. So we're continuing to improve the gift teaser experience for shoppers, gift recipients, and sellers. Now, gift recipients who receive a gift teaser will see the option to send you a message if they need help with their gift. Gift recipients can reach out with any questions, but only the original buyer of a gift can request a refund, return, or exchange, depending on your shop policies. Gift recipients won't be able to request return or file a case. I can see this meaning that recipients will see the button. Yes, I think they're told they can't request refund or anything like that. But they're going to click on it and go to the shop, and the shop owners now know that this person can't leave them a review, can't do anything. So some sellers are rude and sarky to their customers, have terrible customer support already. That customer support is going to be even worse to a gift recipient because it's just going to be totally like, not my problem, deal with your friend, which I totally understand because, yeah, customers can be awful. So But the problem with that is this could be people who've never been on Etsy before. This is their first experience. They get sent a gift. Everything doesn't go smoothly, and the seller's rude. So I think we should all be thinking about how we're going to talk to this gift recipient. There's going to be difficult ones. Of course there is. But at the same time, we've just got to be, here's some details about everything, but I'm sorry, I can only work with the person that purchased from you. I hope that makes sense. Oh, I hope you can't hear the rain lashing against the window. I was just going to walk round to the shops after this. Isn't spring wonderful? Okay. So that's meant to say Celeb Collab. Obviously I'm not doing very well. Singer-songwriter Casey Mungraves collaborated with Etsy seller Emma Mons Bauman on a collection that totally charmed shoppers. So, good and bad, I suppose. It's a singer was releasing a song and they collabed with Etsy to make a collection. I hope it's not only just that one person's items. But then the team helped build buzz around the launch. So they're advertising Casey's released a song and here's some jewelry to go with it. It's kind of good. It's kind of, everyone's come to Etsy to get Taylor Swift merch, which is illegal. This isn't merch, but this is saying, here's some stuff that fits with the vibe of my song. So it's kind of good, but it's very, very small, the number of people, the number of shops this is going to help. But it might bring new people to Etsy. So do I hate it or love it? I don't really care. I mean, look, if Nine Inch Nails are releasing a new song, collab with me, absolutely. But yeah, I don't really care. Etsy fighting for sellers. Kind of good thing. Obviously, this is US law, but an update on Etsy's advocacy work, how you can help us build support for fairer tax laws. Etsy's advocate team have been busy giving a voice to Etsy sellers in Washington, D.C. and across the US. In D.C., we've supported efforts to increase the threshold for 1099K tax forms. I think that's how you say it. So sellers don't receive a form for selling as little as one item on Etsy. Oh yeah, that's an absolute pain. There should be a limit that, if you're only selling a couple of $100 worth of stuff, you don't need to tell the tax office. Anyway, I'm saying there should be. I don't know what the laws in your land are. While the IRS announced an implementation delay with the 2023 tax cycle, we're still putting pressure on Congress to come up with a permanent solution. Lend your voice to the fight by writing to your senators. Yeah. If this is something that's going to impact you in the area that you're in, absolutely write to your senators. Let them know how big a problem this is. I mean, Etsy is huge in the US. Let's not do silly tax laws. Okay, here's a big one. Etsy is closing shops. Now, we know they're closing shops and they don't tell us about it, and it's a big deal. Starla's been talking about this. Go over to Starla more. I was going to talk more about this, but some things have happened last night. Her alphas will know about it, but I'm not going to go into that. So we won't do a big hoo-ha about it, but Starla is looking into shops being closed. So go over, subscribe to her, keep an eye on her. But Etsy is talking about closing some shops, and they're going to tell them about it. So kind of good, but you might have to check out. So in April, we'll start notifying shops that have been inactive for 4 or more years that their shops could be closed. We have teams working year-round to prevent fraud and keep your shop and account details secure. I'm not sure about how having a shop that you've had a break from is going to be fraudulent. Help us better protect users' info. We'll start reaching out to shops that have been inactive for 4 or more years. Sellers whose shops are considered inactive will get a heads up via email 90 days before their shops will be closed. They'll also get multiple reminders before any changes are made to their account. Wish they'd do that with all the other things, but anyway, if they want to keep their shop open for business, all they need to do is log into their account within 90 days of receiving the initial notice. That's good. I was just going to say what is inactive. So you just have to log in. That's good. I just logged into one of my dead test shops the other day. A shop still inactive after a 90-day notice period will be closed permanently, but the account can still be used to make purchases on Etsy. If you decide you want to start selling again, you'll need to open a new account for your shop, choose a new shop name, and add your payment details again. Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, if you want more than one shop, you have to have more than one email account to connect it to. You have to make a separate Etsy account for every shop you want, which is an absolute pain. Why can't we just flip between them in the dashboard like every other place on the internet? But anyway, good to know. They're counting inactive in that they just haven't been logged into. So if you have shops, many of us start an extra shop and then run out of time and figure we'll come back to it. And you totally can. So maybe you don't want to have to get another email and try all that process again. Also, there is the whole thing, if you open a new shop now, you're going to have to pay extra money and you might get over like more ID proofs and everything. So it might be good to have your extra shops and keep them alive. So log into it. I know people are going to be freaking out going, what's inactive? But it seems pretty clear there. If you want to keep your shop open for business, all you need to do is log in. So you don't need to add listings. You don't have to do anything. Just log into the shop if you want to keep it. So good news there. Let me know what you all think. But that's it for this week. Unless I've missed anything, let me know in the comments below, or what you agree with, what you disagree with, what's a bit annoying. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.